Okay.
If you want to get it.
Oh, they just gave me a report.
Yeah, long man.
Just keep this shooting like a.
Right?
Okay, it's 6:30. I'll call this meeting to order, December 9th. Annual council meeting. Roll call.
Okay, Miss McGee, sorry, Miss Kuby,
Here.
Mr. Chapman, Miss McCarthy, and Dr. Covert.
Here.
And
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make an adjustment on the agenda. Item number H, which is the public hearing for the reappropriation of funds for the special election and also the reappropriation of funds for real estate. I'm going to move that to in front of the public comments, just as public comments, because there may be some people here that are only for that particular thing. And I don't want to have them sit through. We don't really want to do that. So we'll do the public comments for the special election and also for the real estate. And then for those of you that have signed up for public comments, then you'll have that and you'll get your 3 minutes to what's on your mind. So if that is good with the council, I need a motion to I have a motion and a second to move the public hearings as it relates to special elections and also reappropriation of funds for the real estate. And all in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, with that, we go to opening up the public hearing specifically for the reappropriation of funds for special elections. As you or you may not know, anytime we have an election, we're required to pay our share. And if it's just for us, it's the whole amount. Since our budget didn't have anything in there for special election, we actually had to reappropriate some funding for that specifically. So do we know, Nicole, how much that will be? Have we gotten a quote or anything?
I'll say roughly $15,000.
Whoa.
We have
Okay.
how much a special election is.
Did you say 15?
15,000 for a special election.
No, that was.
well, it was for two.
Correct. Is it per seat or is it overall?
I'll have to look, I don't know that right off the top of my head.
Okay, so if that is the case, then what I will need from council is a motion to reappropriate not to exceed whatever that amount council wants to do. And then when you get an adjustment, if it's less than 15,000, then we'll obviously inform you. And if it's more than 15,000, then we'll have to come back and get some more money. So with that being said, I am going to open up for public comments for anybody that wants to talk specifically about the special election and reappropriation of funding.
I'm just curious, how does that figure get derived? It's like salaries for registrars or how do they come up with that?
I wish I could, that's how much it costs for them to, by law, have people
Ballots
there.
and counting and all that?
Right, that's to make the ballots.
Right.
And then to have somebody there to make sure that they read your information and that you're qualified. And then there's the machine, I don't know if we're getting charged for.
You're right, yeah,
the
wow,
machine.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen a bill for it, so I don't know. Do you know?
I do not know, but I know it's,
All those costs,
gonna
all
be,
the special costs. Yeah. You have to have it certified, you have to, all the costs. You get it all there.
So,
roughly 15,000. It shouldn't exceed 15,000 from what I understand. So
okay.
Why don't we go with like 17.5 in case, it's, we
Are there,
don't want to come back, we don't have to.
are there any public comments specific to that?
Where's it coming from?
Well, that's what we're going to tell you after.
You can't comment if you don't know about it.
Well, it's got to be reappropriated from the funding that we approved last,
The budget,
yeah.
yeah. So
If
if you don't have a number, how can you do that?
you have to pay for the special election regardless. It's not something that we are charging. It's something that the registrar is charging. So we have to have the money approved to appropriate it. We're going to get a bill and we have to pay for that.
You just haven't, you don't have the bill yet.
It's roughly $15,000. It's 14,000 and some change. I do not have the exact number. I can report back in January the exact number if you would like.
Close the comment and I'll bring it back to council for further discussion or questions you might have of staff.
What fund, are we deciding what fund we bring it out of? Or what?
So you have to, it comes out of your general fund. So you have, the way a government budget works is you have an all over big fund, right? That you have money. And then you have to say, what are my operating funds for the whole year? And you have to say how much revenue and how much expense. And you have to have a balanced budget. This is just government, statewide, federal government, everyone. So you have to do a balanced budget. And so sometimes that's just saying, I know we're going to bring in these deposits, or forecasting what we think we're going to bring in because there's more people in town. And then you have to look at your expenses. Well, we know where there's more people in town. So these prices might go up. We might have more refuse. We might need extra trash cans. So these contracted prices will go up. So we have to balance the budget. That money is all coming from a pot of money that the town has. I'll make sure that we try to put this pot of money on our sheet so everybody can see what we have. But then as we have to reappropriate that money, we have to take money from that pot of money and put it back into our balanced budget so that we can pay that bill. So that is where it comes from. And then we create an accounting code that says special elections. I wanted to, it wasn't really to you, Becky, but I was talking to you. I just wanted to make sure that everyone kind of understood how this works and, make it general as possible. So.
Thanks.
So we're gonna move it into that.
So as I understand it, if council decides to approve the reallocation, then that gives the town manager authority to take it from somewhere in the budget and she'll report exactly where that's coming from. And
It takes it from your pot of general fund money and puts it into your budget.
It's giving permission to spend from the overall budget, is what we're doing. So the town manager can't just take that overall budget and go to Walmart.
Right.
We have to give her the permission to make that expenditure.
Right.
So we're authorizing, what did we say, 15,000? Be appropriated to the special election bill.
Now Louisa's gonna have one. Can we split it with them? Are we gonna be, do they got?
So this is for the special election that we just had because
Oh, it's
we
for the
voted to have a special election for the council seats. And instead of saying that it was a general election, because I think it should have been a general election, right?
No, so general election.
Oh, because it wasn't
General
council.
is every
Okay.
fourth year. So just because it lines up with the presidential election, doesn't make it.
It's a general.
Mineral
Next year is the general election.
year after,
Year before, I mean,
because it's over 4
26.
years. So 2026 will be a
So well, this
general
isn't an upcoming one. This is the
This
previous.
was the previous.
Oh, okay. So we still have to deal with the upcoming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that might be our bargain election. If we can pair up with Louisa's, okay, sorry.
So what's council's,
Aye.
I need to,
Make a motion that we approve $15,000 for the special election.
second.
okay, so I have a motion, that we close it to reappropriate funding,
Reappropriate funding.
of $15,000 for the special election. It's just concluded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next. Public comment is on reappropriating funds for a real estate purchase. As some of you may or may not remember, depending on if you were here, the council decided to buy the real estate that's next to the ballpark, which used to be formerly known, for those of you who have been around for a long time, the Minute School. And so, again, this is where we need to reappropriate money for our funding because we didn't put that in back in June when we appropriated for the year. So I'm gonna open up the public comments for anybody that wants to come up and specifically talk about the reappropriation of fund for the real estate purchase. Or,
Can we sit or do we have to stand?
well, if you have health issues, you can sit and.
Okay, if I say, that's the property that Mr. Morgan owns that went under a bankruptcy. And I understand from you 2 lawyers ago, she told you at a meeting that he had filed and all his assets had gone into a bankruptcy. And she was notifying you that the bankruptcy court had told council that they needed to file a claim for the $35,000 lien you put on the property to clean it up. And then she quit. So what's the status of that lien? And more important, what is the status of that property right now? Is it still under the bankruptcy trustee? Or have you checked and made sure it has a clear title?
Nicole, do you have any of the paperwork?
I don't have paperwork on me because we weren't prepared to discuss any of that. We'd already discussed it, and according to the attorney and everything was a go. And even with our discussions with the realtor was,
Yeah, I just.
Nothing showed up.
Sure there's nothing changed.
nothing changed.
All we can tell you is that our attorney initially, when he filed for bankruptcy, told us we couldn't talk to him anymore, and we didn't.
Right.
And then we found out through the, I believe they call it a trustee.
Yeah.
That he was out of bankruptcy and we were free to talk to him about the property.
And are you gonna make sure it's do a title search and then it's clear title?
Well, I hope the real estate company that we hired has done that.
They don't do that.
Doing it.
They don't, if it's just that,
But this
They don't
is
do
a
that.
special person that we actually hired to,
okay, so you're gonna make clear, it's free and clear. What about that lien on it?
well, that lien is the lien that we put on, so we,
Well, he owes it to you.
yeah,
You paid for that, so you're gonna deduct that from the price, why not? You're just gonna give it to him?
council decided that we would take the lien off because we were getting the property at a cheaper rate.
Hey, did you have it appraised?
I think it was.
Do you have an appraisal, a written appraisal?
I do not know.
This is responsible property buying. And that 35,000 all came out of taxpayers' money, not yours.
That's right.
And they're don't, someone needs to do, when you buy a house, Ed, Mayor Jarvis, you have an appraisal done. You don't go, oh, this is cool, I'll write a check, I hope.
Right.
It needs to have an appraisal done. And I don't know why you would decide to take $35,000 of tax money and go, oh, we have a great deal, and throw it away. It's a legal lien.
Yeah.
That bothers me.
I don't believe that we have the ability to collect that money because the former attorney did not file the paperwork properly. And what she and the former mayor said, we'll just wait for him to die.
The lien should be on the deed.
Well, what I'm hearing from one of our council members is that 2 lawyers previous, I think it's 2,
Yeah.
that filed that. Didn't file the paperwork.
Oh, so you didn't recover from a bankruptcy, right?
Can you what he's got to say,
Yeah, so,
please?
so that paperwork wasn't filed properly.
Well, but he's out of bankruptcy and it's his
No,
property.
no, I mean before.
Yeah, but now I think
The lien itself was never done correctly.
in the beginning to even put it, oh,
Right.
God. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and then I couldn't go back because there was a time limit. That was 8 years ago.
Too bad.
2015, 14,
14.
when the fire happened, was even before the fire.
Way before the fire.
All right, so
Owned it, wait.
so it was a long time ago. So
Because they know it's
that's
they screwed it up.
what I understand.
I thought that y'all said you found out that the lead.
Wait, I'm still public comment.
Okay, all right.
Please.
May you finish?
Public hearing.
Hi, I'm Debbie Moon, 232 Mineral Ave. I don't necessarily have a comment in regard to the reappropriation of funds. I am very surprised you are using a Realtor. I thought this would be a transaction using attorneys. But since you are using a Realtor, if you walk out of this building, my face is on that building. It says Realtor, that's my phone number. Rumor has it that one of you are using your own personal Realtor, which I believe would be a conflict of interest. As your personal Realtor, I would also waive my commission fee so that the town would not be additionally charged. Just something to, I guess, keep in mind for any future purchases that you probably want to maintain business within the town. Thank you.
I would like to make it plain that I'm retired and I have an inactive license, so it's not me.
I didn't say it was you.
Does anybody else have a public comment as it relates to?
No, I'm just here. I live across the street from the property in the yellow house there on the corner by the church, 73 Louisa. We would love for you guys to get the property. I don't care about all this other crap that's going on, whether it's a lien or no lien or how much it is. But it's an eyesore for the town right now. And there's a bunch of junk piled up over there. The weeds are all growing up, the building's falling down. It's a mess. And hopefully that lien that you're talking about, which is a lien to clean it up, that's your lien, so pull it back and take the money and clean it up yourself. But I'd just like to get that eyesore away. And plus the fact that I think that also, I don't know what your future needs are or what your plans are to use that property, but it certainly make a very nice pee-wee ball field. We also got running water on it already. You could also put some bathrooms there for the baseball players and the visitors that comes to the games, and have some kind of recreational area there. You already got a nice park at the other end of the ball field. But as we all know, pee-wees have a smaller field than the normal little league guys, so it'd be nice for that. But also extended parking, because right now, let me tell you, I live right there. There's cars parked everywhere. When there's a tournament or a major ball game, up and down the street, people walking across the street, you're fortunate somebody hadn't got run over yet. So, hey, that's my 2 cents for it.
Well, thank you for your 2 cents. We appreciate that. Is there anybody else who wants to make a public comment?
Oh, wait. Can we get his, I'm sorry, I need your name for the public hearing, sign up.
No, Alan, ALAN, Newton, NEWTON.
Newton, that's easy.
Okay.
Glenn Bernard. And I think that the idea of getting restrooms for there would be great if there's running water, but I would ask that it be great that the money be acquired by doing a fundraiser, than adding more to our taxes where our water's already high enough. And I don't think that that's something that we all could get together as a town and get with Louisa County and do.
I agree with you, because my water bill just doubled. So,
Welcome to the club.
yeah, right. I mean, been here since February, but, well, we know also that there's a sewer there. I mean, so everything, the facility's ideal to do it.
Thank you. Anybody else have a comment?
Somebody sent a letter.
Somebody sent a letter.
Yep,
Okay,
so,
Related to the property, that's.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read it.
okay, Douglas Clemens wrote, "Dear Miss Wilson Kuby and other members of the Mineral Town Council, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to bring to your attention an issue concerning the piece of land located at 74 Louisa Ave. The current owner has unfortunately failed to maintain the property, leading to an accumulation of excessive amount of trash, including a large yellow moving truck that has become an unsightly fixture in our community. This neglected property not only affects the aesthetic appeal of our neighborhood, but also raises concerns about health and safety. As residents who take pride in our community, we believe that addressing this issue is vital for the overall well-being and beautification of our town. We respectfully urge the town council to consider purchasing this piece of land. Acquiring and maintaining it under the town stewardship would allow for us to transform it into a space that enhances the beauty and livability of our community. This action would be a significant step towards improving the quality of life for all residents and upholding the standards of our lovely town. We greatly appreciate the town council's dedication to civil service and our ongoing efforts to make the town of Mineral a wonderful place to live. Your support and action on this matter would mean a great deal to the residents of this neighborhood. Thank you for your attention and consideration. Sincerely, Doug and Carrie Clemens, residents at 50 Louisa Ave."
Enter that into the public comments. Okay, I'll close the public comments and bring it back to council as to further discussion as it relates to the reappropriation fund for the real estate purchase.
I have, I was thinking, when we first talked about it last year, I think in the, I don't know exactly when. I thought that it was brought up that they found out that we do, the lien is good. I'm sure that was brought up. And you remember that?
Well, I remember several things about the leaders. And the only reason I say that tongue in cheek is, of course, I was a council member 4
Yeah,
years
I
before
was
being
thinking,
mayor.
yeah, I
At that point, when we had the big fire and it was a safety issue, the council before the one that I was on had the county go condemn it and then authorized to go and have it taken down
they
and cleaned up.
And then they,
Yeah, and a lien was filed
But I
for
was thinking-
$35,000.
yeah, I was thinking that we said it was invalid and then we found out that something else came up. And you remember that?
I do remember several comments on from different lawyers.
Right.
And the last one was that you filed bankruptcy and we weren't to talk anymore, nor did we talk. And then several years went past and then and we had to file our notice with the trustee to get our money back. That then we found out that there was a problem with the lien. Again,
We had, Carlos, we look into it to make sure,
well, we're,
or is it a done deal?
We've already voted, they've already voted
Yeah.
to negotiate the price
I'm
and
not talking about that.
sign it. I know, but because we've already signed something, because council said to move forward with negotiating the price to purchase the property. And we've already signed a document with the property owner. We can't do anything else now.
Right.
Yes, you can.
Excuse me, was there no contingencies?
So
Yes, you can. You don't have to sign it.
Contingencies.
That's not true.
Folks,
You got a license, right?
legal was not one. I was on one council when that was.
Yeah, but we know.
The auditorium.
I'm sorry, Bernice, I can't hear you.
correct.
The lien, I was on town council when that lien was taken, that lien is so long ago, it's probably close to 20 years ago.
It's about 05 or 06.
Yeah, and it was not for the school building at all, it was for the auditorium, because the auditorium was falling down and the roof had fallen in, and so it was,
Was it part of the building?
Pardon me? It was a whole different building.
Okay, I'm sorry, oh my God.
I don't know, more down. I like about that building.
It's still school property, regardless, it's still school property. My thing is, it looks terrible. Y'all gave him $10,000. What has he done with it so far? Did y'all give him $10,000 up front to clean up?
He has a time period. He has some January something.
I think it's end of January.
And also, I want to see a copy of the paperwork. Which I think
I don't think you, I don't know.
Just stop by there.
I don't.
In the process.
Ask him, Rob.
In the process, what is that?
Are we closed?
Probably, because I'm not gonna talk over
Yep.
people.
Come on, folks. Give your attention up here, please.
So in the process of closing, someone who's a real estate agent, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've only done it once. Isn't there a title check when you close?
Yes, there is a title check, and we did not have an attorney. So we chose to use a realtor and a title company. And that's how we did that.
But so we'll still
Who's
get,
our relative?
we'll
Mhm.
still get it free and clear, right? We're not
Right,
gonna
yes,
2 years
absolutely.
from Now find out
Right.
that somebody else had a lien on the property. The
Right.
one for the town, we can.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna bite that bullet. We've already decided on that. Moot point at this point. But I don't wanna find out 2 years from now that the town bought property that
Wasn't clear.
someone else has a lien on. But the closing process will clear that up. Am I
Yes.
correct in that?
No, you're not.
There would have been, in order to make you a safeguard in that area, you would need to have title insurance. Was title insurance purchased?
It will be when we go through the closing process, correct?
Yeah, you haven't closed yet then?
No,
No.
So you make sure that that's on there and that will protect the town.
Can I ask who's the real estate agent?
It's Penfield Realty, or
Who?
is it Penfield Realty? I can get you the name.
That's not even a familiar relative.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not, I'm being put on the spot. I don't have the information for this, but I can definitely.
okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't read anything, I just think that we need to know.
Well,
And
you're gonna get that information, okay, because you've asked for it. But right now, what we're trying to get through is public comments, and now it's up to council. You have two choices here. You either motion to approve
I'm sorry.
or motion to deny reappropriating the funds.
I wasn't here when y'all voted.
I understand that. I'm just saying, that we're getting into the right side, into the left side, and somewhere in the middle. And all we're trying to do is appropriate money because we're getting towards the end where we're going to either have to finish up purchasing the property or not.
When is the motion to approve the reappropriation funds?
Okay, so I have a motion to reappropriate the funding for the school property, I'll call it. And I have a second. All in favor?
How much is it?
Things.
Okay, so I have one abstain and I have 4 approved. The motion Now we'll go back to opening up now public comments for anything anybody wants to do public comments on, not associated with what we just did on the public comments.
Understood.
Oh, and can I get an adoption? I'm sorry.
I thought we did that. I had that Ron, motion, Bernice seconded.
Well, that's what I thought.
For the agenda,
Yeah.
that was to move.
Oh, for the amended? Okay.
Okay.
Hearing, we have not adopted the overall agenda.
Okay.
So do I have a motion to adopt the overall agenda? I have,
I will second, provided that the committee assignments is moved.
yeah, the committee assignments should be removed.
And then that is what said.
Okay, all.
I've got it again.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Any opposed? Okay, now I'll open up, Ms. Moon,
Stephanie,
You're up first. Yep.
thank you for your diligence.
Debbie Moon, 232 Mineral Ave. Town looks great. I love the snowflakes. You have great comments on Facebook about how festive it is in the area. I just saw the tree in the parking lot. Can't wait for Friday night. Question. Do you have 5 more snowflakes? Can you find some?
Oh, sorry.
Because if you look at the map, there's a little curve at the top. And that happens to be where there's more businesses that are struggling because people don't know they're there. And apparently the town doesn't either with the snowflakes.
No, they had.
So we would love that if you could extend them past, it adds light to the area, it continues to happen to the businesses. So that's.
Talking about down towards the Mineral Restaurant area.
Yeah, they stop just shy of the restaurant.
I don't know why that
So there's
happened.
nothing by,
Long time.
It's public comment.
I'm sorry.
so there's nothing by the restaurant, the gas station, Jen's Crafters, the hair salon, the carpet place, DK Donuts, the LKA signs, or even Dollar General is within the town limits. So as my public comment, town looks great, you just need to cover the town. Thank you.
Can I comment on it?
That's good.
Public comment.
They can do that.
Well, I'm maintenance, so I will explain why they're not.
After public comments done? Then, okay.
Okay.
I
can't really read it. Sparky. But, okay.
Do I
You're
have
up.
public comments?
I have no comments.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Joanna.
I'm back. Hey, everybody. I'm here because I have a little concern of something that I've been talking about since the town manager position was open. And that's I feel like people really need to do their due diligence and people should be interviewed for the position. And people shouldn't be overlooked. And I think once you have been interviewed for a position, that when the position is filled, you should be notified. That's proper business etiquette. And I'm not finding that in the town. I was talking about this since we've had the town manager position open. I applied for a job at the DMV. I didn't hear anything after a couple of weeks and I called them and asked them if they had received my application. They said yes. I go to the DMV the other day and there's a new youngster there hired. And excuse me, let me rephrase that. There's a new employee there hired. And I asked her if she was a new employee and she said yes. And I never once got an interview. I didn't get any acknowledgement until I called for it. And I never got any type of acknowledgement that the job had been filled. And also, I'm a veteran. And veterans are supposed to have a priority on government jobs. At least enough to give them the courtesy of an interview. And I really think that we're not getting better. And I'm kind of sad and I'm kind of disappointed that we're not getting better. And so I'm asking the council to ensure that a standard of practice is adapted to the town where you respect the people of the town or of the community that are applying for jobs and that when they submit an application that it is acknowledged and that after the position is filled, it is let known to people whether or not they get the job or not. I think that that's a common courtesy in business practices or good business practices. It's one that I've always done when I worked in the corporate world, and I'm sure many of you others who have worked in the corporate world do the same. It's common courtesy, and it's respect for others, let alone respect for veterans. Done.
Thank you.
Mr. Hempstead?
I got 10 items on my list, so I'm going to read as fast as I can. Just to be clear, as a councilman, I work for the residents of the town of Mineral. I do not work for the town council that I am legally and certified sworn member of. I was elected in November to a council seat by the residents of Mineral. The registrar's office certified the election. I have been sworn in by the clerk of the circuit court, which allows me to take my seat as a councilman on the Mineral Town Council. In the state of Virginia, the only way an elected sitting councilman can be removed from office is through a recall process that is done by the citizens voters who elected the councilman. Any other method of attempted removal, as in by the current town council, is illegal and unconstitutional. This trial council held violates the federal and state constitutions. The law is clear that only the judicial arm of the governments in the United States can hold trials. There is nothing valid about this closed session removal of me as a duly elected councilman in the town of Mineral. I will not resign my seat, and I will not advocate my seat on the town council. I refuse to take part in any past or future illegal actions this council insists on repeatedly doing. For further information, this council has repeatedly abused and misused the Freedom of Information Act, bending sections of it to suit their needs. I sent an email to the Freedom of Information Council in Richmond with a list, including the mayor, all members of council, the town manager, the town clerk, and attorneys for all. The reply was, we have no records of any of the members of the town of Mineral government, town manager, town clerk, or attorneys for all as holding Freedom of Information certificates. This means that none of you have taken the time or followed the law that requires you to be certified. With no training and no certification, you are not capable or competent of accurately applying any part of the Freedom of Information laws. I do hold a current Freedom of Information certificate, and it appears that I am the only one in the town government who does. When I ran for office, I told the residents that I talked to that I would work to free them from this tyrannical, dictatorial bunch on the council. I intend to do exactly this. Members of the council have the option to follow the law, honor the wishes of the residents of town, and stop holding closed meetings all the time, which is illegal. If they don't find this behavior acceptable and they do not intend to comply, then they need to resign. The Constitution of Virginia says that the people hold the power. This is all of you. The council is elected to serve, not you serve the council. And I fully expect to see my name, contact information, and picture back on the town website tomorrow. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dave. Anybody else on that list?
Not unless Hank wants to talk.
Is there anybody else that wants to give public comment? Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
I thought that anytime you discuss personnel matters, that it was a closed session and was that's the purpose of this.
So there are several different under 3911 where you're allowed to go into executive session. And as long as it's for one of those particular things, and normally if you've been here when we do the executive session, the town clerk will say under Virginia Code 3911, and then she'll have a paragraph and then maybe an A, B, C, or D, and then she'll read what it is, then that's allowed by law. If it doesn't fall into any of those so-called codes, then no, you can't go in. And then there are certain things that because, for example, if you wanted to know how much money I made, since it's taxpayers' dollars, we wouldn't go into close on that because that's public information, and there's actually websites you can go to, and within any public official, you can get last year's, salary and how much he or she made. So there would be no reason to do that. So that's why it's important that the town clerk specifies the code and that's what we're going in. And then when we come out, we're in effect certifying that what we went in for was specifically what that code allowed. And each person has to say, I certify. That's how it happens. So,
Ed, may I make one last comment?
yes, sir.
When I was told that the Freedom of Information Act was the reason that you went into closed session, I sent that to the Freedom of Information Council in Richmond. And I was told that that works for personnel issues, but it does not work for elected council.
Okay, and that's why I say it's very explicit as to what it is. So, thank you, Dave. I'm going now the public comments, the maintenance gentleman, that you all know, he's going to talk specifically about the stars or the snowflakes. Go ahead.
Okay, so to address the reason they don't go up any farther or down any farther is because number one, we put up all the snowflakes we have. Nicole and I have discussed about getting more for next year, but it not only entails buying the snowflakes, it entails dealing with Dominion Virginia Power because Dominion has to put the drops off of the lines with the plugs for us to be able to mount the snowflakes on. So in working with Dominion, Harper Electric, who puts them up for us, has talked to them, and there wasn't enough time this year for them to get it all done. So in correspondence, the plan is next year to try to give them a heads up on which poles we want to get them put on, how far we want to extend, how many snowflakes we're going to need. So next year, we'll be able to go from one end of the town to the other, is the plan. Just so everybody's up to date on that.
Good plan.
So,
Okay.
and I want to clarify one thing. On the school property over there, there's no sewer there. The sewer was originally turntable things out in the old playground area because I went to school there. So there's not any sewer on the property.
Okay.
Hank, but there's bathrooms at the ball field.
Yes, and to clarify that, the town spent, all the in public have seen the porta potties over there. Last year, the town budgeted the money, we set a manhole, did it connections, and hooked those restrooms at the snack bar area up to the town sewer. So it has been the Little League that has not remodeled the bathrooms and has been putting the porta potties there. When the town did their diligence and we had the project done in January and it was ready for them to remodel the bathroom. So it's not the town that didn't do their diligence. The facilities are there and it's hooked up. They're just not utilizing, remodeling their bathrooms for the public to be able to use them.
So,
If they're done, they're not unlocking them when they have games or anything particularly.
people come across my front yard, go to the bushes behind the church.
And in all reality, when we hosted the state all-stars there from all over the place last year, personally, I would have thought it would have been on the Little League's A1 top agenda to get that facility up and working when we're hosting teams from all over the state here to come to the town rental instead of making ladies and children use porta potties. I was a little disturbed when I saw that, knowing the town had bent over backwards to get them hooked up in plenty of time, to see that happen.
Okay.
Have such ambiance.
So, thank you for that. And the only thing that I'm just gonna mention, not that I'm disputing anything, but when this council and this mayor took office 2 years ago in January, we actually, and I'm gonna say it was February, somebody correct me, the FOIA guy, and I don't know his name, who was in charge, actually did a certification for all of us on FOIA and said that that was good for 2 years. So,
Was it the lawyer that you had that?
no, it was the actual guy.
Andrea.
Andrea was the lawyer, but she set it up with the FOIA counsel, and he actually did almost a 2-hour presentation.
Somebody better call him then.
So,
You're not there.
I don't know about the certificates or not, but he had told us, hey, in 2 years, you gotta do it again. So in January, our 2 years is gonna be up for the initial FOIA that all the public representatives had to go through.
Ed, I can send you the email.
No, I'm not just, I'm just saying that, I'm just putting that out there that we did have them up there.
Well, you can take that email and send it back and say, yes, we did. Maybe they'll go look some more.
Well,
Yeah, so,
and we also had one last year where a council and planning commission attended. And there was one in Orange where 2 people attended. So the attorney must not have done her job at the time to file the paperwork, but it was done.
yeah, so,
You can also get it at the, Virginia Municipal League meeting.
okay. So anyways, but we are due for, some of us are due for it again, so we will need to make sure that when we schedule that, that there's whatever piece of paper goes with it, that we have one for our files. With that, I'll direct your attention to the August 12th, 2024 minutes. Please review that, and once you review that, then I'll need a motion for corrections, deletions, additions.
Motion to approve the minute as presented.
So I have a motion to approve the August 12th, 2024 mineral council meetings and a second. Do I have?
Wait.
Go ahead.
When you got over and we were talking about, old business. On page 9.
Nice, good.
The Dalton part provided tapes of what it was like growing up in mineral. I have those tapes that were provided by the Whitlock family.
Okay.
Not Walton Park.
Okay.
It talked about garage, this garage, and what folks were saying long ago, and
I can't hear anything.
Hey, guys. Please.
so anyway, I don't know where the 4,400 came from, but I did not ask for a barn door. I think the council talked about options. The only thing I asked for in that was a manual garage door to be replaced on there to close up the hole.
Did you catch that,
At the old factory building.
Stephanie,
Mhm.
change?
Okay.
Is there anything else?
That's it.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve with the amendment.
Yeah.
And a second, all in favor?
Abstain.
Okay, one abstention, we have 4, okay? Okay, then I have 2 abstentions, 3 approval.
I wasn't at the meeting, I would say, but on the same page. I will, I didn't watch it, I was video there, so I was, yes,
There's also, meeting minutes for August 15th.
yes. I, motion may be approved.
Okay, I have a motion by Mike Corbett and a second by Ron, all in favor. Abstain, okay, 4 to 1, abstain and stuff. And moving to accounts, November accounts. Is there any comment on that?
Did we get the balances on the accounts?
You will have them in January. I finally have
Thanks. Some way to spit them out.
mastered the FMS system.
Home beans, thank you.
Do we have to know?
That's good.
Well, I don't know that we do because you guys did that as part of the policy.
Right.
So. I think it's just an FYI.
We didn't reappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We did reappropriate.
Okay.
Under the old business, it's,
Excuse me.
I just heard here.
It's, I'm
Close the
here
door.
today.
come this way.
They just can't
I'll
stop.
stay.
Can we close the door?
You can't close it. You have to open the door.
The meeting is in here.
They're yakking. I mean, it's not your business.
Just pay attention.
Okay, under the old business, the FOIA policy, we got that up last week, last month. And we're trying to come up with a policy. Does anybody have any updates on that, or after you reviewed, any comments?
So that is the red lines that Rob has sent over and then a clean version of it. So that would be the policy that we work off of. That was the supplemental loose leaf out there.
So based on your handout that was sent to you folks, with his comments and then the clean, what is it that council wants to do with the updated policy as it relates to FOIA?
And so I'm gonna ask our FOIA administrator, what are your thoughts on this policy? Is it something that you feel you can support and is within your ability to maintain?
Yes.
Anybody else have any comments? Or then the chair will entertain a motion.
So maybe.
I have a motion by Ron to approve the updated policy. I have a second by Ms. Cubie. All in favor?
Aye.
I said,
Unanimous?
Can I make a request, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Can we get this posted on the website so the public?
Yep, we actually created a policy page on our website, so this will be the first ones to get to hit that policy section.
I think we're required to have a specific link to it from, you know, I mean, there's some requirement.
We
I don't know
have,
what it is, but it's specific in the law. There's some FOIA requirement on the front page. So if we could figure out what that is and just whatever that is, I don't know.
It just has to.
I can't remember.
I think it just has to be on the
Link. It
website.
has to be on the website.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be front.
It has to be on the website. And so on the website, I have a link to go with that.
Right.
So we're putting all of
Has to
our
be on the front
policies. It doesn't have to be on
I
the
don't
front
think
page.
No, the,
I don't think
We have to, we're putting all policies on a policy page.
okay.
And FOIA will be in the policy.
I would suggest to council, if you haven't seen the new updated website, you should at least go and then provide feedback to the town clerk if there's something missed or arrived.
And I can get to that amended.
As it goes to open meetings, again, this was something that we were going to make a policy for, and it was sent out. And any comments from council as it relates to open meeting?
Yeah, and I think we should consider in the policy means when we have, you know, like when it's intended to protect somebody, like, you know, personnel or council member, and they don't want that protection because they feel that that's oppressive, that they should have that option that, you know, if they want it transparent, they want it open, and if, you know, it's there to protect them, that we should honor that or at least consider it. You know, if, you know what I mean, so I'm just saying, is that should maybe be an option.
I hear that, and I was a proponent of that the first time that we were discussing it, and I think the issue ended up being the contingency of the Roberts rules and the fact that it simply wasn't an option.
Right, but I'm just saying, when we make up our own, because we're right now, we're on Robert's rules, but we were gonna make a constitutional change in our charter, I guess. So maybe when we make that in the charter, we have those choices. So let's consider that.
Well, we can actually put that in our bylaw. when we do at the end of January, when we workshop our bylaw, we can add that, just because the option is there, doesn't mean we need to take that.
Right, or if the person feels that they want it transparent, and that would be more fair to them.
Right. I mean, we have the option to go into closed session for XYZ reasons, but that doesn't mean we have to. In some scenarios, we do,
Right.
but not in all.
But there are some times when, it just might be more clarifying to public for it not to be, even though it's falls under, it's not particularly.
Well, that'd be up to council to.
We'll discuss it in January. We'll discuss it in January.
Yeah.
Put that on, I put that on the agenda.
I know, right?
Because I will forget by then.
So do we have a motion to approve or deny the open meeting policy?
Yeah, but I mean, another.
Do we have that in writing? I didn't see it.
It was both.
Is it?
Yeah, there's two policies in there and then there should have been two red lines.
Policy 1.2.
Let me get the right tab.
Here's policy 1.2.
Did you have it? If not, you can have my copy. Okay.
I saw it.
Thanks, Nick.
The snake.
And then there's for your request and open meetings. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, there's requests and then open
Open
meetings that we split into two.
Requests was the ones we were talking about, right? Well, I mean, that's the last meeting.
No, that was the FOIA. We're done with that. Open. Get to the agenda. It's open meeting. Motion to approve or deny the new policy.
Motion to approve the new open meetings policy.
I have a motion by Ron, I have a second by Olivia, to approve the written open meeting policy. All in favor, say aye. No, any opposed? Okay, motion passes. And now, last, under the old business is a motion to appoint a FOIA officer, which I didn't-
Yeah,
I did, but,
You asked me to.
I did, and here's why. So given the authority inherently given to the town manager, she has the authority to appoint a FOIA officer. Any employee paid by the town can be a FOIA officer. However, I don't think that our council ever supported that decision. And I think that with the number of FOIA requests we have received and the number of public comments we have received, I think that this council needs to support our FOIA officer in declaring that she is our FOIA officer. It's kind of ceremonial, and yes, it is a little fluffy.
okay.
But
Okay.
I think we need to support our staff in that way.
So I have a motion by Ms. Cubie to appoint Stephanie as our FOIA officer.
Can I respectfully jump in? So Louisa, the way Louisa does it in their resolution is that they appoint a town manager, is the town manager or their appointee. So then that way, if you don't have a clerk or if you don't have me, she can just plop in and say, okay, whoever. will be the-
Okay, so
I respect that and I appreciate that and I respect where you're coming from. We've already bestowed that authority on Nicole. And so while well-intentioned, I think that in some ways it kind of undercuts her authority in her role for us to have to like publicly acknowledge and that's like an authority that she already has personally.
Okay. I see what you're saying, and I don't disagree with it. I don't want the continuing question.
Questioning of her.
Like that's getting old.
okay, well, thank you for the
Very
kumbaya moment. And we'll go to new business. And the committee assignment should have been discussion, so we're going to employee appreciation. And I'll ask Ron to speak on that first.
So I asked that this be put on the agenda, the holidays are coming. I know, Nicole, I know you had a plan for employee appreciation holiday celebration for the staff. Would you elaborate to the council?
So we were gonna just follow what we did kind of for Thanksgiving. We're doing our little in-office Secret Santa, and we were going to do like a lunch. Did we ever get the thing from Rome?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we're possibly just gonna do a potluck. And it's on the 20th,
The 20th.
the 20th of December
And you guys will be closing town hall for a period of time?
for an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, for lunch from 12 to 1. As we did for Thanksgiving, just to be able to, celebrate staff, have lunch, and go into our holiday season.
And then talk to me about, about holiday bonuses for the staff. Where are we at payroll budget wise?
So we have, and you can pass these off. So I did a staff salaries, paid for FY 25. And we have saved money, this year. We have not, we've had, 2 people leave, 3 people leave. We've hired 1 person back, but in looking at what we've paid to date, and for the rest of the year, we're going to end up saving like $25,000. That's salaries plus what we pay out in benefits. So with the savings and with all that the staff has done, with all the extra work that they've committed to and reworking the schedule, we had, 3 DMV employees leave. We've worked around the schedule to hire 1 employee to replace one of the employees, but not 2 more full-time employees, as even though we have vendors that come in and we do a lot of work for them. There's also a lot of downtime. And so it was really overstaffed, and Kendra Ellis, who is our DMV manager, she felt the same. It was not something that I decided on my own. We worked well together and discussed, just what's going on in the DMV, and found that it is worth, just taking a moment to see where we are. And right now, we're not planning to hire, any more DMV, staff members. And with these new, not new duties, but just transferred of duties with that throughout the DMV staff, and with everything that our town staff has taken on, it would be great if we could give them a holiday bonus. It would not exceed $5,000, not per person. That would be the total. Yeah.
What is the name of our new employee?
Kayla? Yep.
I motion to authorize the town manager up to 5,000 in holiday bonuses for the staff.
So I hear a motion from Ron to authorize. You got me with my mouth full.
Holiday
We
bonuses
can talk
up to $5,000. I'm throwing my.
Not individually,
And not individually, but as a group.
total for the entire.
What percentage per person?
That's not how we're doing it. We're doing $5,000.
And then she will make a decision based on,
7 way, 8, what?
no. The town manager will just write it up based on, I guess, whatever fair criteria with whoever's been.
That's up to.
So it's not,
you-
everybody's getting the same thing. It's not that.
You guys gave the power of the town manager to oversee
I just got here.
the staff. No, but you were here before. Don't try to weasel up there. So I have a motion to authorize the town manager to put out holiday bonuses not to exceed $5,000 US.
Michelle already seconded.
And then the second, Michelle, all in favor?
Aye.
I said that.
Thank you.
Why don't you look at me?
Because I can't hear you for some reason. You're too
We
far.
need your microphone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
council. Thank you very much.
So is this next thing, the town holiday celebration run through? Is this somebody trying to get us to exercise?
Good tree lighting.
I don't run nothing good.
You know, you have to, you're gonna be the choir.
All right.
Do we
So-
Haven't heard carolers.
I have a question.
Yes.
That poor little lonely tree out.
I mean, I had to get it from where y'all got it from.
Ma'am, even though we don't really have, because Louis had asked it, then turned it.
The lighting.
Go ahead and light it up. It's December the what, 9th?
If that's
It
what y'all wish.
it wouldn't look so lonely. It looks like poor little Charlie Brown or what.
Hey, that's what I call it.
So,
And another thing,
yeah,
next year, let's get 2 trees, because we need a tree over there where they.
We are.
One over there.
We,
Yeah, plan.
that was a plan.
Plan.
And
Because over there where the thing, but I thought y'all were gonna put the tree in front of the building.
we couldn't.
I wonder
But it just looks beautiful.
I know, and I'm sorry.
Light it up.
We need to reach out to the Arbor Day Foundation.
Oh.
And they'll come and actually plant a real tree that will grow like the one in the town of Louisa.
Mhm.
And we used to have one here in Benton, right? On the corner.
It was a white pine though. It wasn't really a Christmas tree.
I think.
It wasn't a Christmas tree though. You know what I mean? It was just a white pine. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like it. So yes, but we do need that.
But it does.
So who volunteers?
Okay. So we'll work on that for next year and we can.
Maybe I can talk to Simon and to put the tree over there, even though they're asking for donations. I will say this now, they're asking for donations for decorations for the for the fairgrounds, because they've had so much expense this year. And I just got an email from them asking for donations.
Okay, thank you.
So,
I just want to comment that even though the tree is there and maybe look lonely during the day, right now it's got cars around and talking to it, but I want to thank the people that stood out on that god awful windy day to decorate it, because it was not pretty when they were doing it. And I appreciate their work.
Yes, thank you. I do too.
Beautiful,
because
healthy tree.
It was one of those bitter colds. So, under new business, we have the discussion on the empty council seat.
Well, y'all gotta talk about the timeline for the
Yeah.
Christmas celebration. Sorry.
Well, I gave you guys time, but nobody wanted to tackle it, so.
Well, we were talking about the tree and then we were talking about decorations. Then we were talking about, okay. So, the festivities start Friday at 6:30. We're gonna have refreshments, cider, I think cookies. I think maybe there's gonna be a food truck. We're trying to make it bigger every year. The town is kind of, I feel like we're starting from the bottom of the rung to get this up and running, but every year we'll add to it. So we're going to add more lights, we're going to add more decoration, we're going to add more people. We're going to do a lot for the holidays. So hopefully if we can we'll all work together and maybe help make this successful. So it's going to start, it's going to be here. We're going to have tables set up. We're going to have hot cider, cookies. The mayor's going to say something. We may have some carolers. We've reached out to one of the churches to see about that. So, and then it'll be over at 8:30, 9 o'clock.
That's
Just be
the tree lighting itself is at
7:30.
7:30.
Right.
We also have little ornaments that we're going to set up a table for the children to color these ornaments. They're not really colored, like you take the crown and you mark off the dark part and it has.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
a scratch.
It's like a scratch thing.
Like a lottery.
So it'll be for them. They can take it home and put it on their tree. So we got some of those.
Okay.
That's nice.
Any other comments before I move to the next? So next on is the discussion on the empty council seats.
What is our 45-day deadline? Do we know what that number is? What date that is? We have 7 days before that.
You asked one question, give us a chance to answer.
I think.
Yeah, I understand. We just need to get a date.
Rob, can you tell us when the 45 days start for the empty council seat?
The first day would be the day after the vacancy occurred. So, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Not really.
Can you hear me? I just see Nicole reaching for some volume here.
Yeah, we used to have it on the TV and now it's just on the computer.
Okay. Well, I'll try to speak up.
That's okay.
Hopefully it translates through, but you have 45 days from the vacancy occurring. In this case, that happened on November 21st. So the 22nd would be the first day. And town council has the authority to appoint somebody to that seat for up to 45 days after the vacancy occurs. After those 45 days, council loses the ability to do that. And the Louisa County Circuit Court may, but are not required to appoint somebody to fill that vacancy. So after 45 days, it's out of the council's hands, and perhaps the court could do it, but the court is not required to do it. And if the court doesn't, then the seat would remain vacant.
So we have until basically like the Christmas to assign or to appoint someone, but to have also followed the process.
Right.
With that 7-day window that the state now requires for all appointment.
And my understanding is if we're going to follow the process, then we should be asking for a letter, and some have said a resume. Is that?
It's in January. It's 45 days. Is it 45 business days?
45 days from the time.
Calendar days.
Calendar.
Yep. I'm seeing January 9th when I just.
Yeah, January 9th.
Right.
So not in time for our next meeting, because our next meeting is January the 13th. So we're gonna have to put something on the books for now and then where we have the initial meeting to present any optional candidates, and then 7 days from that night for council to make its vote.
It just has to be at least 7 days. It doesn't have to be exact.
Correct. And then it can be, right, so it can be 10 or.
Right, so we've got some flexibility, but for
This was gonna be 2 meetings. Yeah, do it in January.
Okay, so
I think we should authorize the town manager to put it on the website that we are obviously looking to fill the seat on council. And we would require resumes and letter of interest. And then we need to pick a date.
Okay.
Calendar.
We got Monday, the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. You're going into the 23rd, which is the Christmas week. And then you have New Year's.
Right.
So if the 16th and then you have 7 days. I mean, you could do the 7th. Yeah, we have to do it before January 9th.
I thought the 16th, that gives them a week.
That's 40.
From November 22nd. Can't see that. Rob, if it's calendar days, how does holidays fit in there? Because Thanksgiving was a state holiday, and I'm not sure about the day after, but the day of is a state holiday. Is that an extra day? And Christmas?
It would only be extended if it fell on, let's say, a weekend or a holiday. So if it was a day that the town wasn't open, or it was a federal or local government holiday, it would be extended by 1 day. However, I would recommend that council not try to run up against that as close. I understand we are coming up to the holidays and it could be difficult. And I know you guys are aware that you have to have the public hearing at least 7 days prior to making such an appointment. So I'm just throwing that out there to say I'm looking at this here on the calendar, and January 9th is going to be the drop dead date that you'd have to make a decision. So working backwards from there, you at least have to by the 2nd, if not before.
So
Next Monday,
I would recommend that we accept applications so for 1 week, until next Monday.
Is that giving the public here enough time? But I'm just throwing it up.
I mean, Wednesday, we could do Thursday, we could do Friday, because we would only meet for that.
Right. And it's
Give it 30 minutes.
I also want to clarify with the attorney, is it a public hearing or a public meeting? Because the code I thought said a public meeting.
Meeting, it's just a meeting.
Because there's differences in the way we have to advertise.
Sorry, you're correct, Ron. I'm looking at it right now. It's at least 7 days prior to making such appointment, the body or board shall hold a public meeting.
Okay. So
Sorry, not hearing where there's comments.
That's hot air balloons and all the bad stuff.
Send it drone to everybody's house. That would be days and nights doing it. Not gonna feel like a little drone.
You want to do the 20th?
Yeah.
And then we can do the public meeting the 20th. You may not know on the 20th, so that's.
Oh, that's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
30th, I mean, the 19th, or the 18th, or 17th.
The 19th would be okay.
So
I can do 19th.
Becky, are you available? That's a Thursday, the 19th?
It's just gonna be very short, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be short. It'll be for whoever is interested to be able to speak to council, submit their letters. Their letters and resumes would come via email to the town manager prior to.
To the
And then
clerk.
we would- To the clerk, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so we have a consensus then that we will meet here on the 19th of December at 6:30 for the purposes of reviewing the letter and resume, and the public can come in and see who's submitted. And if council wants to, like we did the last time, we can have the individuals who have applied to speak a few minutes. And then that's it. And then what's the follow-on day for?
So we can approve, it just has to be no less than 7 days out.
Okay, so do you have a date, council?
I think we should discuss that when we have candidates.
Well, I mean, you have to do it by,
It has to be 7 days, but before January 9th. So we could do it January 8th. And we would still be within the,
I think the holidays coming up would be best for us to just plan it now.
okay, so do we want to look at the 30th? That's the Monday after Christmas.
Council members,
That's okay with me.
And so the 30th would be the actual appointment.
okay,
Yes.
so
okay, so the meeting is gonna be on the 19th. We're gonna put the resumes out, we're gonna advertise for this. And then we're gonna cut the advertisement off on the 18th, the day of.
Those are business.
I would say the start time of the meeting, so if they haven't presented it. Like, what are we looking at?
I would say 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. It's like 4 o'clock.
We have to get copies and do all that stuff.
Okay.
all right, so be specific on when you put the notice out.
4 PM on the 19th. And then we'll have everything ready for you guys to look at and whoever in the public wants to come. And then on the 30th is when you're gonna make the appointment.
Yeah. Which puts us past the 7-day window. And before the meeting.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, God. I can't. Yeah.
Okay, moving on then, the Whitlock Family Park.
I can change it.
Bernice?
We still need to get a sign, and even if we go up to LKA signs and see what they can do for us, that's in the deed. It has to be done, and we need to do it. And as far as the door on the manual door needs to be in that door, that is dangerous, that anybody can walk in there.
I don't know what she was
It's
talking
an
about.
open invitation.
Can we just go to Lowe's and buy?
Yeah, I'm not- yeah, yeah.
That up there, I mean, in the meantime, can't we just do that?
It just needs to be put on.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said at the first.
A manual garage door.
And the sign.
The sign, it's in the deed. That is something we.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what signs I love are those, I know this.
Don't do the 800. Let's talk about the door first.
So I'm working with Hank and the maintenance staff to get a main door to put on the building.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
As far as LK signs, I can stop by there and see what they can do for us as far as a sign
yes, please.
and bring back a drawing. But it's in the deed. It has to.
Do you want that type of sign or do you want? Who did the mineral sign?
That man is long gone again. He did the sign in my yard. He's from Fluvanna. He used to chisel those things. He died a long time ago.
But can't those kind of, they're wooden signs that are routed in, where the letters are routed in, and they're like wooden, like the state park signs, you know what I'm talking about? I think those are really nice signs to have a state, you know, on a park.
Well,
Do you want
for long
something built?
term, this has been 2 years now coming, so for long term, yes, we can decide on something that we want, but for short term, we need to get something on that property that says Whitlock Family Park, even if it's a metal sign, if it's on a pole for the time being.
I agree.
Okay,
So let's get
what are we, like,
something going on that. But think.
But in the long term, think.
well, we have to have money set aside if you want a nice sign, so we have to start
Or you have fundraisers.
allocate money.
Fundraisers or do planned sponsorship.
We can't do.
I don't know if the town can have fundraisers actually, but like the mural over there, what we did was we sold prints of that mural and for $20 a piece, and it all went into a fund to pay for the mural.
What about a business sponsorship?
Could have a business.
Yeah, could do that.
Sponsorships, yeah, as long as we acknowledge that the ladies count. That's something that we can add.
But I think Michelle's idea of the sign is really
You know,
good.
those are very inexpensive. You buy the router letters in a router and, you know, you could do the whole town with.
So you can find an artist that would do that for you.
That's right.
Or just a wood, or we can have that too.
And have an artist paint the letters.
Appropriate.
Yep.
It's not on the pole for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
And it
go
just
like.
has to say the left family farm.
go to that.
Yeah, so yeah, Joe Morgan for that, please.
I'd like to make a motion
The
that we.
stand-up sign, the temporary sign.
A temporary stand-up sign for Whitlock Family Park, as well as to install a manual garage.
Okay, I have a second and. Oh, sorry, I have a motion to buy a manual garage door and stand-up temporary sign for the Whitlock Park. I have a second by Olivia. All in favor? Okay. Thank you.
Did we, just circling back, you had mentioned doing a motion for, hold on, for Nicole to be able to post the advertisement for the vacancy seat, but I don't think it was ever voted on.
We just.
Just wanted to confirm, because I
That's
think
you posting.
it's Bernice putting it on the sign. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we were.
Okay, so the next thing is the water at Walton Park. And before I entertain anything on that, do we have statistics or data that you could share with us as it relates to
Where's the usage?
Walton Park water?
I
As it
think
relates
that's in
to
the bill.
the fire.
No, I want to put the minutes. Okay, so Walton Park is right now, I guess, under the umbrella of the fire department. And their bill does not exceed $26 a month. Their usage, the fire hall, however, exceeds way beyond that. Their usage at the park. Their usage at the park. So we have 2 meters. One's a new meter, one's an old meter. The new meter is, Hank can help me about this, maybe. So we're going from July to October. In July, the new meter read 7,700 gallons. August, 2,800 gallons. There was a leak, a huge leak in the park, huge, at one of the yard hydrant spigots. After we fixed that, it went down to 56 gallons for the month and 25 gallons for the month. On the old meter, it's pretty consistent with the way things are ran. So July and August, September are higher. So 260 gallons, 250 gallons in August, 210 gallons in September, and 160 gallons in October. Those are the usage numbers. Their bill never goes over $26, $25.80. It always falls under the less than 1,500 gallons. There was a motion in a resolution that stated to pay for them not to pay for the water when they had events at their fireman events, right? There's only one event that the firemen do, and that's in July 9th through the 13th, it's Carnival. The Ag Fair is by Parks and Rec. The Fall Festival is by Parks and Rec, I think. Those are the only ones that we counted for this year. So, and then there was another one on Labor Day that wasn't the firemen. So there's one event and then the bill's $26. They pay for that. They don't pay for the water at the fire hall. And that usage is outrageous. And the bill runs hundreds of dollars. I don't have that in front of me. I'm sorry. I didn't have a chance to pull it, but so that's where we are. And I know that Ms. McGee has been advocating to have the water for them not to pay for what the motion was made for Walton Park fire events is what I'm reading in the motion resolution.
That's right.
In the minutes. And it was voted on. It's $26 a month.
Yeah, so have we actually billed them for $26?
We bill them every month.
They're not supposed to be billed.
So the taxpayers of the town of Mineral, 475 of us are paying the hundreds of dollars for the fire hall.
Wait a minute.
And EMS.
And dropping the fire hall.
Yeah, fire hall.
That's nothing to do with Walton Park.
Well,
that is
water,
two
fire
different
department,
entities.
Do we have the resolution?
No, I just had.
I made a motion. It was paid.
Here we go.
Stop and let conversation go, please. I thought that earlier, Mr. Mayor, you had said that you were going to talk to the county and see if they would.
Right, so the motion initially was that Ms. McGee wants, please read it.
Okay. So
It's page
the
31, Ms. McGee.
page 31 in your packet.
Yep.
It's in your packet. So, 31, that's.
It's up here.
Oh, sorry.
It's the bottom.
It's 30.
The bottom of page 30, going on to the top of page 30.
Okay, so it says Councilwoman McGee made the motion not to charge the fire department for water. was seconded by Councilman Chapman. Mayor Jarvis clarified that the fire department would not be charged for fire department functions, but anything else would be charged to the fire department. Everyone voted 5-0. It passed.
So that is saying that.
When I made the motion, it was for every month, That's what got passed, that they would not be billed for that water, only when somebody else was there. But there is so little of the amount of water, and there's no reason to be, but if we paid these firemen, volunteer fire department, my son would be a millionaire right now if he was paid. That's the one thing we can do for the firemen, and if we can't do that, then we're in trouble.
All right, let me ask you this, Ms. McGee.
Yes,
And
sir.
be careful how you answer it.
I will.
What you're telling us is anything that happens at Walton Park is free as it relates to the fire department. Is that a true statement? Is that a true statement?
When the water bill comes, you don't bill. That's what my motion was all about.
But it was clarified and you voted on the clarification that the mayor gave.
I made the motion.
She just read it.
I made the motion that they not pay a water bill at Walton Park. We can't do that for them, we're in trouble. If they close up right now, this town is gone.
Okay, so if you're.
Pay these volunteer firemen, how much? Right now, they're under so much pressure from so much. If we can't give them $28 worth of water a month or $68 worth of water a month, then we're in bad shape.
Okay.
Then we pay $75,000 for a piece of land.
You have said your thing. I'm going to say this to council.
And we owe them money.
I'm going to say this to council. If you agree that you don't want to charge the fire department for anything that happens at Walton Park that they're associated with in terms of fundraisers, then I would suggest to council that they need to relook at the fire station and the amounts of water that's being used by the firehouse, because that is unbelievable. We have sent 2 letters to the fire chief. I've had a talk with the county administrator, and in some cases, they're going through 30,000 plus gallons of water a month.
A month.
There's a lot of car washing going on.
It ends up being like $7,000 a year. And if that's the case, I mean, we're paying that. We're not charging them for that money. And that is just the firehouse and EMS.
That's right.
I have nothing against the fire department, but however, we are having to pay for the water from the county water authority.
Because they're not coming out of our wells anymore. So.
We're not paying it. The taxpayers are paying.
Right.
Well, that's what we're saying.
Can I say something? Because I'll read the meters.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, since you read the meters.
Just so everyone is on the right page. When the paid county people left the firehouse due to the root conditions, okay? Yes, the water was up 30,000 plus gallons. I'm trying to figure out where the water was going, okay? After they left, the water was still up. We monitored the meter, it wasn't showing any leak going in. There's a 4-inch meter the town pays to put in on the main line that feeds that whole building. They found out through the bills being so high that they had a bypass valve had been left open, the half-inch line. So figure out how many gallons a minute going through a half-inch line every day. Dumping into the drain.
Down the drain.
So they have to bypass when they change the filter. Someone had left the bypass open. They were under the assumption it was paid through, I don't know, I'm not getting into all that. Supposedly they fixed it. I don't have the numbers in front of me
I do.
now to know what the monthly readings are for the last couple of months, to know how much it actually dropped.
Well, let's find out.
Well, I have to July.
Okay.
So we found the leak when?
We'll say it was,
Not until August?
August.
Oh, well, then these numbers, okay. So the usage numbers are for 12-month period. So from 2023 August to July 2024. So from 2023 August, 43,936 gallons of water was used at the fire hall. Okay? That goes with sewer too. So this is sewer too. This is not just water. And that total water rate was $685 plus, hold on. Sorry, the old rate, it ended up totaling $929. Today with the new rates, it would be $1,199
For a year?
for 1 month.
Oh, 1 month.
In September 2023, it was 44,000 gallons in usage. At the old rate, it was $932.
some of what needs to be is the newer rates, because, and I'm not trying to side either side. I understand the town is buying water from the county and the well gone up anyway. I'm a taxpayer too. But I don't know, does anybody know? Mineral Fire Department right now is only volunteers. There are not any paid county members over there anymore. If Mineral Volunteer Fire Department continues to be Mineral Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated and serve our community with no paid personnel over there, then I think we need to look at the gallons they're using, and do we bill them when, if our house gets on fire in town, who's gonna be the first responder?
So let me keep going with the usage numbers. Okay, so so August, September, those are high months, right? It's hot, people are using water.
Right.
So you get into November, December, January, February, they go down to, the average looks to be about 13,000 gallons, okay? So then back in March, April, May, June, July 2024, it starts going up. You got 20,000 gallons, and then it goes down in May, 13,000, and then June is 32,000, and July was 59,000.
See, that's when they had the leak.
Well, we don't know when the leak started, right? Because in 2023, it was 42,000 gallons. All I'm saying is, this is what we're paying.
Right.
They're not paying this water bill.
They've never paid that one.
We are trying to make sure that all water leaks and everything are taken care of. They did go out to the park and fix the yard hydrants. I mean, it took a while, but they did it. To get that leakage down. I mean, we're literally losing money. They weren't being charged for the leak.
Right.
FYI.
Yeah, we're selling it all.
With them being all volunteer right now, and they've been that way since spring.
Because of the mold.
And all of these men are up there, and they're giving their time. This town needs to support them with the water and with the Walton Park water. If your house catches on fire and they decide, hell no, I ain't going, because
They have a legal
don't support
obligation.
me, and I'm not gonna support them. We're being a house.
So under a memorandum of understanding, that's not gonna happen.
We don't know that.
Well, we
I know my
because
son would go regardless,
that's a agreement
But
that we
we-
have with the county.
but
What I'm telling you is these guys have not been paying for the water
and
at
they're
the
not being
firehouse.
paid to come to your house to put your fire.
If they do, they charge my insurance company. Let's be clear about that, okay? Let's not cry
And
wolf.
then they come and do a brush fire or in the woods and everything, which they have been doing. They've been nonstop the past month or two.
I understand.
And they're not getting paid a dime. These men are not
I understand that's part of volunteering. That's what volunteering is.
But we need to help them.
Okay, you have been noted. Now stop for a minute so somebody else
But
can breathe.
nobody's listening.
I am listening.
No, you're not.
Which part do you want me to start and read back to you that you said? These are volunteers and we don't want them to pay for any water.
Exactly.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm listening. Now, what I'm going to say to council is you heard comments from the residents, not just this tonight, but other times that we have raised the water rates.
Right.
It's up to council. It's not up to Ed Jarvis because I don't have a say in this. But at some point, why are we not then advocating with Dominion that the fire department should get free electricity? Because they're volunteers.
How do we know they don't?
Because I know, I've seen the bills. Okay?
One thing I'd like to add is, I feel, I understand, right? My dad was a volunteer fireman. I get it. I know, I completely understand. What I don't understand is, I don't understand why the business dynamic isn't there for the volunteer fire department, right? If I'm going to rent the park out to Parks and Rec, my rent should include whatever my water bill would be. So every time I rented the park out or the pavilion or the space or the whatever they're renting out, because they can do that, they should include that a charge of a water bill, $25 in that, a charge of leasing the property, a charge of bringing gravel back onto the park, there should be a charge for everything. And maybe it's divided over 10 events, however many they say they're going to have throughout the year. But to me, that is where they need to budget their money. Again, I understand.
Don't, because I can't answer those questions.
Well,
Because
I don't think they charge for use of
but
park.
they should charge
And I'm
for
sure they
this. They should,
But-
and they should charge, and these are the fundraisers. I'm just giving options. We are having to raise prices because we're getting water from the water authority. I mean, it's terrible, but it's also expensive to drill a new well. This well is only holding, Hank, 100 gallons.
100 feet.
100 feet.
It's been down 6 months and the most it comes up is, the highest it'll come up is 100.
100 feet will only last maybe 2 days. It's not, I mean, our wells are dry and we're having to rely on the water authority and we have to pay them.
So what I would propose, since we're going to have a special election, maybe we ought to have a referendum on whether the fire department should get free water.
When is our? We already voted that they get free water in May, and it's not been done. That's what's makes.
I want to say it's the 21st.
It's January.
I want to say it's the 21st.
21st.
What I would like to see is, I would like to see us get the accurate reading since they have just been volunteer over there recently.
Right, and
And see in the past few months, how much have they been using as a volunteer operation?
Well, they have been by themselves for more than 6 months,
Yes.
ever since that mold. That's when they were moved out. So we should have like almost a good year.
That would
I
have
can
been,
find out. I can
that would
find
have
out.
been June or July this year then.
I have a question. Do we know, does the fire department own Louisa? Does the town of Louisa pay for their water?
No,
Do they get a?
the county pays for it.
So why don't the county pay our fire?
But can they go and get go to Louisa County and ask for kind of like a
waiver?
a waiver or
Sure.
a refund, or I don't know what it's called. Well, we're buying it from the county though, so we have to charge.
Can we? So let's
Can we
say,
do it?
hypothetically, if we're billing the fire department, can the town turn around and get that money back and send the fire department a check? Does it, I mean, I know that's going 6 times around your butt to get to Yellow. I understand that, but If they're doing it for the town of Louisa, why are they not doing it for the town of Mineral?
How do you know that?
Maybe we don't ask.
Well,
Or could they just read the meter?
Well,
And they bill.
We just build them.
County for the amount of water that goes through firehouse.
right.
Instead of the town being involved altogether.
Yeah, have them taken off our bill,
Exactly.
because, I mean, our guys go to Louisa too, they don't just,
That's right.
Right, but for accounting purposes, it would probably be like, I'll charge you, then I'll credit your bill. Like, that's probably how they would have to do it.
Still think that we owe them money, what, and bill to them, since the,
Well, have they-
They paid the $20 and then 25. So they've been billed for Walton Park and
and
it
they shouldn't be.
looks like it's being paid. But again, your resolution states that it's for the events, the fire events that take place in the park.
I know that's not, but we changed it and you voted, yes.
When did you change it?
At this time you made,
Did not.
she just read it.
It's in the,
Board talking about not to be billed, period.
okay.
Well, I'm sorry, that's not the resolution. I will
Well,
have her read
it wasn't
it
even
again.
a resolution when I went through it.
I've had enough of you crying
Well,
over there.
I'm not
Please.
crying. I believe in this fire department. They have my heart.
We
And
understand
they
that,
need to be.
but you are a little bit biased because your son is part of that
I
and
used
it's
to
coming
be a
through.
part, I used to be a part of it too. I
Okay,
volunteered for years.
And you said that,
years
Ms.
And
McGee.
years,
and you said that.
and no pay.
We have read the resolution, it was changed and it was voted on unanimously and you were part of that unanimous, I don't know how
That's
simple.
not how I.
Well, maybe your memory got a little confused. I am sorry that, but there were times that I'm just tired of going down this railroad track 400 times over the same thing. And that's why we clarified it and it was voted on. Now, council has the power to make a motion to give Ms. McGee what she wants and refund the fire department. I'm not saying that that's a good idea. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. But whatever council decides, you, not the mayor, have to deal with your constituents who are raising heck about the water rates being so high. Yes.
Constituents speak to me about that, but they don't think that it's right.
Okay, thank you for that.
Is it right that we pay for the water?
It's not right that we don't, that they don't pay for the water when their bills have gone sky high.
So obviously not going to please everybody.
Well,
And
she
this
totally
council-
misunderstood. She didn't hear clarification. And I think, and this was important to her. And so,
I understand, and that's why
You're
I
yelling at
had
us.
to read the motion, and it wasn't
right.
5-1, it wasn't,
I understand, but we're not gonna fix
I
the
understand.
misunderstanding with yelling at us. We just need to make a decision. Are we going to?
So please, council, talk among yourselves and decide what you'd like to do.
Well, I think we need to check into getting this funded by county because I think we're foregoing, because I think it is available.
Right.
But I think also, I don't know, that,
I think we should
I feel
just-
badly because I think she really was trying to do a good thing. She thought she had accomplished it. And, this is awkward, for
But this is not about an individual. This is
I
about,
understand.
this is about
Really
the
important.
overall money. We're making it personal. It's not. This is our taxpayers.
I understand.
But I think that we should leave the status quo as it is for now. Let's research. Let's find out if the county will either refund the town or refund the fire department so that we can provide
Because this
water
monthly is
for
very
the
high.
fire department.
How much,
It's $25 a month.
for how many months? How many months do we owe them?
Oh, I don't know.
Very low.
But I'd like to say that
There was a figure here, it was 318.
So why don't we, can we just,
$318.
can we?
No, the resolution was that the fire department would get water no charge for their fundraising functions at Walton Park. That was the resolution. I clarified it,
Right, okay,
and then the mayor clarified it the third time.
Right.
In the same meeting, and
so,
it was voted unanimous.
right, so during the
So-
carnival,
So we leave.
we probably owe them for that.
We leave that as the status quo.
Okay,
If it's the fireman's carnival, or if they wanna host a car wash or a piñata party,
I understand all that.
if it's hosted by the fire department to raise funds for the fire department, they get water free of charge at Walton Park.
But not for operations.
Correct. That was not part of this.
Operation
discussion.
is what they're getting at the fire hall, and we are footing that bill.
Right.
And it's a lot of money. It's almost $8,000 for the
I
year.
think town people.
That's because it was a
more
leak.
than the fire department.
No,
Also, to maintain.
no, that's not because it was a leak.
It's because.
It's because they're filling up trucks and they're washing them when they were not supposed to.
So.
There was a leak, but the leak was found.
I really think.
23 to 24.
Let's table this until we research.
Table it, come back to it next month.
I'm just curious, how much do we think that we owe the fire department?
For Walton Park?
Feel we owe them.
I don't think.
Okay, for Walton Park?
Yes. I'm
Okay,
just
hold on.
trying-
These minutes were made May 9th, 2023. That's when this-
May 9th, 2023.
that's when the-
These were done.
These minutes are from May 9th, 2023.
So 2023 all the way to May 2024, that's 4 months. And then, I mean, that's 12 months. And then July is a new, so you have to add in the difference.
Right.
So, it's whatever that is. It's $20 and then $25.
That we owe them. I think that we need to figure out how we can get rid of the bill at the firehouse and see what the county can do.
I think that would benefit them the most.
Right,
If we could get rid of that huge bill, that would be a real plus.
240.
Well, we're paying that.
Again, we're paying that.
Right, but I'm saying, oh, okay,
Right, if we can get that back.
We can get that back to the.
About $400 total. But again,
then we could do the park.
It's $400?
it's about $400.
Okay.
And again, we have leaks that we're doing. We have leaks that we're
Ms.
fixing.
McGee, I want you to notice 200, 300, and 400 for the fire department.
Thank you.
And then
Every
let's,
house will be saved.
and then let's add to next month's
Did you just-
agenda to research for next month, we'll research getting it from the county or reimbursing or however that's gonna work.
Okay.
And I think-
We'll add it to next month's agenda.
I think we could also talk with them just about conservation. They're young men, they're probably not even thinking about it, but there are probably some efforts.
Did she just?
All right.
That could be, just personal power washing when they're bored and stuff, and.
Okay, and I have done that. I've sent several letters out, so let's move on. Next item is the planning commission appointment. I know that we have an individual by the name of Brian, I'm gonna mess up his last name, Fowler, who has expressed an interest in joining the planning commission. Are there any other people that we got any applications from?
I did not receive any. I think Nicole received this one.
Yeah, was there like an advertisement for an applicant? Oh, I didn't see that, okay.
Or the next.
So weeks, sometime.
Is there anybody else? Then I have a motion by Ms. Cubie to appoint Brian. I have a second. All in favor? And one abstain. And okay. Brian, if you're in the house, congratulations.
You went home to make lasagna.
That lasagna,
I'm coming to your house.
Okay, town manager, it's time for you and your zoning / town manager report.
Sorry. So the report was copied from last month. Sorry. We're working on a committee's policy. That was stated last time. We're still working on them. Hopefully it will be presented in January along with when you guys do the committee. It's just something to help staff with how committees work and what to do. You have the FOIA policy. We did raises. Again, this is old. There's a couple things I'd like to talk about zoning. So the Bora Restaurant, they own property past DK's and they're working on the property. The thought is they're going to build a restaurant and really put a lot into this space up there. I've been trying to work with him because the restaurant, I think, has really done the town really good. So he's working through, because he's funding the project himself. So he's working through plans. So you'll see little things happening. I just wanted you all to know that he has a by right use. It's commercial. He is working through how to get there. So his food truck is up there. And he got a zoning permit for a pavilion. That I spoke with the guy he's using to help work the project. Because we can't talk about aesthetics, we can't tell them what they can and can't do in a by right use, but I've tried to talk through some of it with them because we don't want it to be like a pavilion with a food truck and that's it, and throw a bunch of wood and have a bonfire. So we're working through that. The idea is that he's going to have some entertainment areas out there. He's going to make it look nice. Some of it may be cemented eventually. The pavilion's going to go up. His food truck is out there. I think he's going to plan on using the food truck and the pavilion area when it gets warmer. And he has a restaurant, so he has a commercial kitchen that's sometimes stipulated through state that you have to have a commercial kitchen for a food truck. And then eventually he's going to build onto that, and his restaurant's going to go kind of behind that, closer to the railroad. So I just want to give you an idea of what's going on. It doesn't have to be presented because he's just building a building on his property. I asked for a site plan.
Is that outside the town of Mineral now?
No, that's the town of Mineral.
Okay.
Is it different than the Mexican? Or is it just going to move?
I think his plan is to move.
Okay.
But he's leasing this building, so he's trying to work this out because he's leasing this building. So I wanted to give you guys heads up because he's doing it as a landowner and not as like an engineered site plan. And so I'm just working with him to.
Did you see all the cement work that he's done?
Yeah, he's done his own cement work at the restaurant. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was an update on that. I think the gas pumps, VDOT's just waiting for feedback from them for their traffic
Study.
Yep. Impact analysis. So, once I'll check in with them again, but once I hear back, we'll move further along. But I know they had some surveyors out there and traffic cams were, tracking that was going along the roads and what was going on in the parking lot. So that's being done. I did get the PUD in for a review. I'm a little behind on that just because we've had so much other stuff happening. But Rob and I are taking a look at all of this and what, compared to our code and what all this looks like. So once that's ready, we'll move it where it needs to be. Oh, yeah. One more thing. So on the website, if you get to the Town of Mineral website, there are notifications now. Stephanie has worked with our contact at Civic Plus and has been able to get the notifications working. So you can log in, you can register, and every time we update a meeting or calendar event, or there's news or what have you, you can get a notification about it. So we're trying to move in baby steps into this country so that everyone can kind of be on board. You know, what we'd like to do is do live streaming meetings, because I think that's important for the people that can't come out and they have access to computers. So we're working on that too. We will start, we're also looking to move everything to the new platform. So that being code stuff. So we'll do all code changes, but that's coming. That's not there yet. We're working on that.
It's close. I'll say it's close.
All of our information is going to be on the website. So all applications, all anything that you need. And if you can't find it, then it will be good if you are having trouble locating it or it doesn't make sense. You can drop a suggestion. We are working to update the homepage a little bit more because right now I think it just looks like it's the homepage and then it has a blurb and then there's some buttons at the bottom. So we're trying to figure out how to get more stuff on the main page that we can look at or click into departments or whatever.
Excellent. Anything for GMB since you're on the roll?
I put it in there.
It's in the packet.
I'm just, your IT person start yet?
Yep. So IT consulting firm has started. And we are, I found out we didn't have any endpoint protection. So we have that now.
What is?
Endpoint protection is when you use your computer, and it goes out and comes back in. So you have protection from, like, if you're out and about doing something, or you're using a laptop or whatever. So you have your cyber on that. We're not moving to Microsoft 365 right now, but we will be. Right now, we're working to make sure we have everything set up, get the server set up, everything is working the way it's supposed to. So we're just looking to do that, looking to get a laptop for Stephanie, and then just some more security functions in-house. So we're trying to do all the foundation work before we do a big transition. So our financial management software has worked really well. It's just taking us a little bit longer to get the reports where we need them to be. It's cloud-based, which means like you can use it anywhere, but it's not, the reports are not reports. They're like static reports. So that's one and done. You have it out there. It tells you the information. So we're working to see what reports are the best reports to be able to give council and the public, for easier reading of the budget and the budget numbers.
Okay.
We're working on getting, real estate bills went out. So we got that done, and all the real estate accounts will be uploaded to FMS by December 20th. So we'll be just verifying and doing all the payments. So all bills next year will show all the information, and we'll do it in-house. But right now we're taking bills in. We don't have all the accounts fully set up in FMS, but once we do, we'll be able to monitor the tax payments. Right now, we're having to do all of that manually, which is what they've done for years. But once we have it loaded, we'll be able to do that more electronically.
I have a council comment. Does anyone else have one to go first or anything?
You can go first, though.
Oh, well, go ahead. That's right, Mike.
Mr. Mayor, I had gone to the bank and I saw Willie Walker there, and he was one of the two gentlemen that are working with the Hometown Heroes. And he was telling me that they pay for the hardware and the families pay for the banners. So we don't have any reason really not to vote to go into that program.
The flag itself is about 200.
Yeah, it was about 200 for the banner, the families buy them, and their group pays for the hardware. So I think that we should, I'll make a motion that we contact them.
Can I say something? I talked to Elmo Daniel, who is in charge of it. And they're gonna come to our council meeting in January. Is what Elmo told me. I don't know whether he's gonna send Manning Woodward or what, because Manning Woodward and Becky Woodward are the three ones that are doing it. And they want to put it in mineral this coming up year. We just have to say, yeah, we'll do it, not sit on it like we did last year.
So Mr. Harper had told me that he had talked to you and he was just waiting on your concurrence.
Right. Yes.
Sorry. We just have to get approval by Dominion because we have no poles. We don't have light poles
there
in mineral at this time. We did not do the grant for the light poles that Louisa did. So we're looking into that, but it's more of like something we would have to pay for.
Don't we have franchise rights on those poles?
Why don't you just check, he talked to Sarah Marshall, who used it, the person that did that job and then she left.
Yeah. So
Who is that?
I guess the question that I would have, I don't think we necessarily have to wait for a presentation because we talked about this last year and we kind of all nodded our heads, but then we didn't do it because we had other stuff going on. Because there was a question about were we going to incur any costs? Well, I guess, and then of course the conversation about putting up new fancier poles, which was really expensive. And so, I mean, again, if council wants to participate in that, I don't think that we need necessarily a presentation. It's just that if we're going to do that, then we should vote and give them a copy of the resolution. And then in the meantime, get a committee to look at doing the Dominion unless you want to take.
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, Hank and I work with Dominion and Griffin for the snowflakes. So we just have to get there, okay, that we can hang these permanently on the poles. And I don't know how that's going to go about, but we have to ask them. It's their poles. We can't.
Right.
Question I have is, and y'all take this and give it some thought, because since Nicole spoke about this in my daily afternoon travels, I keep looking at places we could put them. And I looked in Louisa also. Louisa has the black poles with, theirs has the lights on the top.
Yeah.
We don't have on the opposite side of the road or on this side, we don't have those kind of poles with lights on them. But we have the decorative pole that is at each street, side street, that has the road sign on it, the black decorative pole. If their brackets will work on that, they're on both sides of Mineral Avenue. Maybe we could utilize our sign, our poles, and mount them to our poles, and we can avoid Dominion altogether.
Be too short.
They're too short.
Well, why don't we just make a motion that, we'll.
Let's start with the yes to go forward.
Yes. I'll make the motion to start the process.
Yeah, we'll do it.
And I will second that.
Okay, so there's a motion by.
Let's still get the presentation next month.
Yeah, let's take the presentation, but let's move forward.
That's how it works.
All right.
So you want me to call, Elmo said he'll come?
No,
Yes. He told me he was gonna come, I did not have.
No, we want him to come.
Let's get him to come so that we all know What's?
Maybe.
Why not?
So we have a motion to authorize it. We have a second. And all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then when Elmo gives a presentation, then we at least.
You might be Manning, I'm not.
Yeah, or Manning, then we'll move forward and,
And you and I both tried to get rid of those extra poles and we haven't been able to. But
Who do we talk to?
I don't know. That's the problem is
well, the problem
Verizon and
is, Verizon and Cox have to get their stuff out
Comcast.
or Comcast.
Well, maybe we should send a certified letter saying we're gonna remove your stuff from the pole on this date if you don't take it off. And if they don't, then we remove their stuff, we put it in a box.
Or then the whole town will not have internet.
Exactly.
I guess so.
I know for certain that the town of Mineral will hold the franchise on the pole, so if they don't come and move it, we charge them a daily fee. Because this has been more than 2 years
Hasn't
now.
been 2 years.
We just gotta move it over.
More than 2 years since they were supposed to.
All right, I'm gonna try.
It's like Louisa has, I know there's, it is a grant out there, but they got, put those up. I've been talking to Liz before. And why can't we get this?
So there's a resolution in the book and I'll have to find it. They passed up the grant. You got a grant, you had to pay so much, money was given to the town and no polls. So they passed it, it's gone. So
It's too much
that's
stuff going
been,
on that's
that's
not taking place.
what I've found since I've been here. That has happened a lot. It's no offense to anyone that was here who was on council or what happened, but that has happened a lot. And that's why the town doesn't have some of the stuff that Louisa has, is because the town took the ability to bypass that and let it go.
We need to.
So we're have to build relationships and get back with these people that have the grants, because I think, turned down state money 3 or 4 times and it's hard for us to get it back. And the way state money works is if you either say, yes, I want it. If you say no, then it's hard for you to get that state money again.
We need to beautify town more. I mean, I'm sorry, no offense to these. But on one side, those snowflakes, it's terrible. And
I mean,
on the other side, I feel like this one going over too.
I mean, we have nowhere to put them.
Right.
We can't.
Understand.
So I agree.
Yeah,
but-
if we got the lamp post, we had something.
Right.
Something else.
Exactly.
And that's something we need to get to.
Yeah, I agree. I've looked.
Okay,
So
so,
let's talk about utilities.
oh yeah, we didn't do that, did we?
Well, I thought that was what was next.
I thought we were doing council, okay, utilities report, we'll skip that, okay. Well, I really don't have an awful lot, other than, we've done repairs, we're out of money, we're kind of, it's like the same old. I guess
We did get an email from the water authority.
yes, we got one asking to use our well, and we've had to say, gee, we don't have the water. Nicole brought up shutting that one down. I think I'm a little reluctant to do so just without, it's just, you can't go back. So I was gonna have to see if, just come down and just, because they hadn't evaluated them yet, because their first priority was to stop wasting money. And then they start looking at things like the well and see if there wasn't some way to make it more productive, because it could have been during the earthquake, you get a small shift, it cut off the aqueduct, the access to it. And, with a small influx of money that we didn't do well, we could get access to that money, that water, but maybe not. Maybe we need to shut it down, but I don't know. So anyway, I was just gonna see if we could find out.
All right, thank you.
And so that's it. That's all I have on that.
We are,
No. Oh, and we set up a regular time.
I had a shot. All right, okay.
we got our approval for where we did our lead. We talked about this last time, but I just wanted to make it very clear that we got it. So we'll start seeing the funds get reimbursed. And we should have it done by the end of December. We should have received all funds.
And this was the EPA mandated.
Mandated lead and copper, yep.
And we didn't have lead, we just had the galvanized, so we're not eligible to get reimbursed for the repair.
And we're working on, I'm working on getting a quote to work with Bowman on, building out our GIS for infrastructure that shows our map of all of our pipes so that we can know where we need to start, where we need to begin, and what have you. And then they're also going to give a quote on how do we do our lifespan and our asset management for our infrastructure, and kind of like our 10-year plan, like what's our build out, where are we growing, what's happening. So it's just a quote that they're going to give me to pass off to you guys probably in January.
Thank you.
And the manhole for the repair at the end of the town's responsibility on the sewer at the lagoon is here. It's inside, we've got it stored inside the old maintenance shop. And the clearing of the right of way down there is on schedule. As soon as we get finished up in Spotsylvania to come back, get started on that, and then some other extensions of water line and sewer that has to be done for some of these lots in the town. So one of the things Nicole and I have discussed and talked about, and we're trying to work on is just so everybody is aware. There's certain areas of the town that building is happening that the water lines on that street do not accommodate more houses being tapped into. So it's gonna become a problem of having to upsize the line and upgrade it because the line is not big enough to carry more houses on. So we can't keep hooking houses to line that is already too small. So,
Is that happening in current builds? Those are happening in the current builds?
some, but some areas are gonna be not money wasted doing the hookup because the town is gonna have to budget the money to expand the side of that line. And when that new line, when we take it by, that connection will just change over to the new line, not the old line.
Right.
And that's some of what Nicole and I are trying to work on is we don't want to get into a situation of where we're wasting money extending a line that is really too small to start with.
Right.
And then you're gonna have to budget and come back. So it's all a process of when stuff is getting submitted that we're trying to work together to figure out what size lines on this street, what's it gonna cost the town to have to do this. And it's growing pains. It's what's gonna happen when the town is building up and, the town provides these services. So.
Right, so this again goes back to the bigger question with the water and what it's costing and everything like that. And what we see on the horizon with the PUD and all these other individuals that all of a sudden building.
Yeah.
With that said, I'm going to go to council comments. I'm going to start with Ms. McGee.
Thank you. First of all, I want to apologize. I get upset, but it's my passion.
Ms. McGee, I apologize to you for getting overly excited too and trying to control you. I should know better than that. Thank you.
I am very passionate about the fire department and everything. It's been in my family since we moved to the town of Midland. We've been a part of it. I've been a part of it, but I've spent most of it there. So I do apologize. That's more than what some people can do.
Stop. We do not.
Quit while you're ahead.
Well, I'm just saying what some people will do. So some apologies are owed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Olivia. Bernice? Ron?
I do, actually.
Okay.
I need help from the council. I have some land that is landlocked. And is between 8th and 9th Street at the end of town behind Chestnut. And I cannot get to the property and we need to, what? Oh, so I just need to ask that the last block of 8th Street be closed. And I have some pictures, circles and arrows, and a paragraph on the back of each one. There we go. And this is just only because I can't, oh, we could just pass this down. I can't even get to it. It's heavily wooded at the end of 8th and 9th because it has never been developed. And there's a moratorium placed on street closures 15 months ago. The mayor tasked the PC with, coming up with a policy, which hasn't happened. They're not meeting last month or this month. And so I'm just asking town council if they'll reverse that moratorium. And I'm sorry?
We're supposed to come up with that policy.
Yeah, the streets committee.
What?
Do we have streets committee to do that?
No, he has the planning
We
commission.
said we were gonna come up with that policy, not the planning commission.
Yeah, that was a council. Council was gonna come up with that policy.
I don't recall that, otherwise I would have brought it up here, but anyway, we need to come up with that, but nonetheless, I need this open so I can get to that. I have a picture of that here. I'm just asking if we could reverse it, and I'm just asking to close this one block at the end of town. 8th Street already has an entire block closed in the middle of town. These are my little trees. This is all trees, and this is 9th Street. It's really long. This is 8th Street, and this is the end of town. 8th Street comes to here and it turns on Chestnut. You can't even tell there's a street there. It just looks like the end of town really, but it's not.
What's the street?
There's an extra little bit of woods here. And I just want to clear enough trees that I can make a driveway and come down because this is the land that I purchased. This is Bob Spedden and this is Mr. Turney. And I just ask, and I will split this, and the three of us just split this 20-20-20. And I talked with Nicole and she would like 9th Street to be open so that it has access over to the county, but 8th Street has already kind of been impaired by being closed in the middle, and so there's a house in the middle of 8th Street already. So, and what happened was down here, a previous zoning administrator allowed a builder to put a 200-foot driveway.
Can I butt in? I'm going to put it up here so everybody can see.
Okay. A 200-foot driveway in this property so that they could get to a back house back here, rather than our code said, hey, they had to, pave the street.
I am
They
not running the
said, oh,
meeting.
no, you don't have to do that. Just go ahead and put a 200-foot driveway
That's
in there. And so what happens, that ended up landlocking all of this. Because, builders are supposed to develop the streets. So they had that driveway and so I just have to be able to get to this property. If
Make a comment and come up with the name.
yes, please. Is Kathy,
Okay.
Kathy, right?
Yes. Didn't know me yesterday, but that's okay.
Oh, he said Kathy. I'm like, we don't have a Kathy on staff because I thought you were talking about our town.
Okay. Okay, the alley behind, I believe it is 907, that's my neighbor.
Right?
He has not vacated that alley.
No, we haven't vacated it.
Okay, so I just wanted to point that out,
We have not.
okay? My question is, why is that street so much wider than the street I have to drive down to get to?
Okay.
It appears that way on paper.
Okay, so Nicole, go ahead.
Okay, so I would prefer, no offense, Michelle, that we did this in a different way, that I would be able to create a presentation and present it to council as a zoning administrator so that everyone could get all the details around what's happening in the town. Okay, I appreciate that, Michelle. But and we've talked a lot about this, and I know that council doesn't want to abandon roads, and it's not something that the town really wants to do. We don't want to close our roads. The reason why a town doesn't want to close their roads is because the town annexes into the next locality. And when you annex into a next locality, there's things that happen for each locality that help each locality grow and maintain basically citizenship, roads, sidewalks, lights, et cetera. Okay. So we're not looking to abandon roads. However, to Michelle's point, this is 8th Street right here, what she's talking about. And the reason why it's so small is because it wasn't developed properly. When citizens start to build on their lots, they are required to develop the roads. Well, and they're supposed to be up to VDOT standards, but if you don't have someone inspecting them or checking them, then they develop them. And if, Johnny knows somebody at VDOT, then things happen, and that's just the nature of the work. However, that's what happened here. And we're going to go to a real-time view. So here is 8th Street right here. Okay. This is the property we're talking about. This is the alley. This is Chestnut. If you look at 8th Street, we're going from the back of the town line all the way forward. It cannot go straight through like 7th and 9th. It has to turn down.
Forest.
Thank you. And I believe it was because, and I'm not sure, but I think this is, the property is closed, right? Right here?
Yeah, I don't know the history of why.
It's like going that way. All right, stop. No, come back. Right in there.
It's closed.
It's closed. And then from there to should be St. Francis Avenue.
Yep.
It's still open as far as I know.
Okay. So it's a council decision. I don't know if this is the protocol or how you all want to do this, but in my own opinion, it doesn't, 8th Street to me serves no purpose right now to go backwards because it literally is just going to this land that Mr. and Mrs. Spedden own and now Ms. Covert owns. So who's that?
Mr. Attorney.
That's Mr. Willie.
Okay. So if you did it this way,
That's his name.
Libby.
you could maybe open it up to have a driveway go to her house, but you can't do that without getting rid of the property. They would have to grant you an easement to be able to drive
That's my next point.
down
Right.
this road, because once the council, if they decide to abandon it, it would now say we're divided, however they decide to do that. Let's say they divide it down the middle. It now goes to everyone on that road down the middle, whatever that looks like. The Speddens and this person would have to give you an easement to be able to get to your property in the back. This is why the town's road policy is that you develop the road that's created on the map from 1890. However, I understand the point. There is no use for the road going backwards. The only use it would be is if this were to ever get developed and it could annex into that. However, 7th Street does a great job of being able to annex to that. And so does 9th Street, because it goes, once it's built out, it goes, all those two roads go straight up to Mineral Avenue.
But if it's closed, you would still have to get an easement.
She would still have to get an easement and they would have to agree to that easement. That is not something the town can do. That is a property owner decision. But the town has the ability.
The adjoining property owners split.
So they split the road, but you have to get them to give you an easement. The council cannot say, council can abandon the road and divide it down the middle. I guess if council wanted to, they could say, yeah, Michelle, we'll give you an easement to access your property, or we give a easement to access the back property to the property owner.
Split it 50-50, so she'd have to go through somebody else's property.
An easement, right, which would be an easement.
Right now, I own the property behind it, so all three of us, but are adjacent to the property. Adjacent to the road.
Right.
Right.
So it would be,
if
it would look
I'm
like
up against
this.
the road and he's up against the road and he's up against the road, Like that was
It would look like this.
Your property isn't up against the road all the way to.
halfway, me and Libby, you're halfway, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you would only get, if they close the street, you would get 30, if it's a 50-foot right of way. You get 30 foot in front of your property. If Mr. Fed and them on the opposite side of the road, they get 30.
But-
So you're landlocked from there to Chestnut because Libby and Spedding's own the 60.
But I was gonna
Okay,
ask
but-
them if they would,
okay.
All right,
I think that,
your attention.
I don't think that I see any issue with clothing. I think I would support that, but I think as a member of council, we need to follow protocol. In that filling out your zoning application with our zoning administrator.
we don't do, oh, we mean zoning.
You do, you fill out you have to do a site plan review for your roads and you have
I
to
mean, if it's,
and you should get it surveyed and then you would have to see where their property lines are. I mean, you can clearly see this is down the middle and then you can clearly see that there's a road right here or a driveway. There's a lot of things that are going into stake right now when you want to do this because, and it's not just you, it's whoever bought the property, but this is the topic, is that this is a building, it looks like.
Yeah, Mr. Spedden has a building in 8th Street.
Okay. So this property has to be surveyed to figure out where the property lines are. You have to figure out, there could be some vested rights if the building has been there for a long time. You cannot make someone move their building unless there's a whole legal issue behind it. So you have to look at that too. There's just a lot of things that are going into state, like you're going to have to survey your property and council would have to decide where the road goes. So again, if this is the property line, you're looking at like 60 feet across, that's 30 feet. That's 30 feet on each side and they would have to grant you an easement. So there's a lot of things to look at and narrow down. I don't see a problem abandoning it. I see that there's going to be other administrative stuff that needs to be done.
Public hearing.
And a public hearing according to whatever the policy is.
I mean,
The roads,
yeah, but we've
when you're
closed roads
abandoning-
before and none of this needed to be done.
well,
So it's-
okay. So as a zoning administrator and someone that's looking at the development of the town, and I get this a lot, I just want everyone to understand that I get this a lot. It's not you, Michelle. I
know, but
I need to.
comments and I'd like to hear them. We have
but
closed roads before and I have been here and none of this was,
Okay.
it just closed the road and did ordinances. So,
Okay.
and we didn't have a public hearing. So I want to understand.
I want to say that as a zoning administrator and in any planning development and anything that you do, the protocol is that when you're doing something with land, and it's something as severe as this, you have to do an application. You have to go through doing a public hearing for closing the roads. That's what's stated in the ordinance. You have to do these things. It is not normal what the town of Mineral, and I'm sorry, has done in the past, where someone comes in and says, I want to do this, and we sign off on it. Okay. That's not how it works out in the world.
All right, we've just been discussing it for 2 weeks and you never mentioned an application.
So,
Okay, I know the application, really. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know. So I would have done that.
talk to you about, I'm not application right now.
Okay. You're not doing it. So you would like to table it and talk about next month after I comply with whatever it is that we need to do.
right, the only
Let's do that.
look at the aftermath of what happened with these homes.
I want this done correctly. I just expected the same progress
Right.
that we had before
I
with
don't want it to come.
Bobby
like
Carpenter and everybody else.
You've got a road person control town property. Like, I want to make sure we cross every T and dot every.
I just want to be able to go to I just want to be able to get there and spend months and but we'll wait till next month, and just, I'll come in and I'll fill out all the forms. I want to do it right too.
I want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought that's what we.
No, and I'll just make this comment, and it was made earlier. part of this council coming into power, if I can use that term, was because there was a lot of stuff in the past that's been done because of who you know and you get to know. And there were things that were done, and as we have found out in the last 2 years, as we have gone down multiple different roads, things keep rearing their ugly head and wondering how something like that got through a process, that should have had a process, but didn't have a process. And now there are some things that have already been done that we're going to have to maybe through the zoning administrator, do some special through the council, come up with a different way of tackling because of what has happened. And so we just, you know, I know it's frustrating and stuff, and we just need to make sure that we get it so that when it's passed and done, you don't ever have to have that funding ever again.
No, that's
or you build that $400,000 house and you find out that you got 10 feet over somebody else's property and the county makes you remove that part of the house. It gets expensive. So with that, we'll put it on the agenda for next month.
And if indeed the council needs to, we need to move forward. This is not just me, and it doesn't have to be me. I mean, someone else may need this, and we need to be able to move forward with addressing it with them. But although we're almost out of lots, I think.
And so the only other thing that we have on here is, of course, we've already talked about the tree lighting at 6:30. Refreshment starting at 6:30 and the tree lighting at 7:30. The next council meeting will be January 13th. As far as the monthly meeting, there may be a earlier meeting based on the comments from the council.
We have two. Yeah, December and December.
So we'll get those published and stuff like that. I don't think we have anything on the executive session. So the last thing that I want to say is, I think it's probably been, I don't know, it may have been the 22nd or 23rd of November. I did a letter to the town manager indicating that I was resigning the 3rd of January at 23:59 hours because I am moving out of the town of Mineral. I'm actually moving out of the state to take another job. So when you all come back in January, as if you don't have enough stuff on your plate with finding a new council member, council will have to deal with appointing a mayor and then doing all the things you need to do and deciding who that's going to be.
We have to do like Louisa.
Exactly. So it's been my privilege to be here. To say I wish it had been a little smoother is probably an understatement. But you guys have cut, you know, I've been able to cut my teeth on my personality and dealing with issues and with people who are very passionate about things. I hope that this group gets a little bit more gelled for its sake of its residents and stuff like that. And, you know, I think we're on the path. We've done a lot of good things. We have a lot of policies. The IT is functioning, the software that you guys have approved. You know, of course, we made the paper more than probably anybody, and that's what people will remember us by. But, you know, I would say continue to work and try to not find fault because nobody is blameless or faultless.
Exactly.
And you just got to work it through. And with that, I thank you, and I'll look for an adjournment.
Not yet.
Sorry, thank you.
First of all, as a tradition, you get to take your gavel with you.
I want to use that first.
Getting knocked them in the head with
Put
them
some marks
once.
in the way for the next year. And then the council and staff wanted to present to you an award, an appreciation award for your service with honor to the town of Mineral.
Thank you.
We expect to see photos when you get settled.
Yeah,
That's where
obviously,
you've placed it in prominence.
obviously you have inside information, which
I don't
means
know what you're talking about. I learned about these today.
when you're a small town, you obviously can't keep secrets from anybody.
Shit, I didn't know.
Somebody kept a secret. Well, maybe in the press, and we try to keep things with the press because we're tired of getting slammed.
We have one of these for everybody, just in case.
Yeah.
I can get one.
What's the dates?
Well, I appreciate that.
January 3rd.
Well, they heard that I wrote a letter of reference and they all know that anybody I've ever written a letter of reference got the job, so. I'll take total credit.
Yeah, but I'll be around for the festivities and stuff like that. My new job requires me to be in Louisiana in the start of January.
Whereabouts?
Way down south here. Nowhere in
So what he's saying is.
No.
Mardi Gras.
You. Lots of rain though, right?
I've
winter
had
time.
hurricanes in the last 3 years, like, and stuff like that, so anyways. We can, we appreciate it and stuff, and
Thank you for.
keep trying to, fight the good fight and stuff like that. I know sometimes, but I can, some of those pain, again, for this month, I get paid, so that when we're all moved on, that the new travel coming in will have some policies and procedures and have some knowledge of, well, why did they do it this way or do it that way? And of course, one of the big things we've done is we've videotaped all our meetings, which we never did before. So,
That's a big improvement.
all right, so I'll get an agenda or
Adjourn.
Adjournment, please.
yeah. I got one.
Yes, yes.
Done. Thank you.
Bye, Rob.